everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Jemma Permalloo, and today I'm joined by a powerhouse lady in the wedding, proposals, bridal industry, Daisy Amodio. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So excited to have you. We had a pre-chat, kind of a warm-up chat, but I'm really excited to get into some of the questions I have for you today. First of all, you are an expert in the field. From having listened to some and seen some of the work that you do, you started by arranging your brother's proposal and then went on to launching 3 businesses, potentially more. You're an expert on some of the platforms like BBC, Sky News, and you organize a proposal just under £1 million. Tell us how all of this started.
Okay, so my brother asked me to plan his proposal and he really didn't know what to do. So I knew that she loved London. So we did a treasure hunt around London. It ended up at a rooftop terrace at sunset. He proposed, she said yes. It was magic. It was beautiful. Everyone loves the proposal. And then I Googled proposal planner and absolutely nothing came up. And I just thought, surely I haven't thought of a new thing. Like, surely there's planners for everything in this world today. And I don't know, I just kind of went with my gut. Like, I knew weddings were getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more creative and more personalised. So why wouldn't a proposal be? And with Instagram around and, you know, all these different social media platforms, people put these things on social media sometimes before they've even told their family.
True.
So I don't know, there was something in my gut telling me this was a thing. And so I did a questionnaire to 500 men, half of which knew me. And they said, why would you quit your good job? Why would you do something so unknown? It's kind of ridiculous.
Okay.
And the people that didn't know me were like, well, why would we pay money to get down on one knee? They didn't understand what you could do. But anyway, I didn't listen to anybody. And it's been nearly 14 years. We've planned over 5,000 marriage proposals, had 2 TV shows. We've done all sorts of stuff. And so I'm so glad I didn't listen to those people.
I'm so excited for you and congratulations for like 14 years of this in the making. Can I ask though, like when you did that survey, which is really interesting, so 500 men, half of whom like knew you, the other half didn't know you. The questioning of why there should be more to just going down on one knee. Do you still think that the idea of curating a proposal, would it still have been the case if we didn't have like social media to showcase or to show to the world a proposal that, you know, I've organised for my to-be wife?
I think it's a good question. And to be honest, was Instagram even out 14 years ago? I think it was just sort of getting round to that.
I kind of remember that in 2012 when I was university time, I think it was like a fairly new thing.
It was a new thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think I even had Instagram then. So it wasn't about putting things out on Instagram, and people weren't coming to me for the social media aspect then. Like it was more about flash mobs. Like it was such a big thing to do something so public. And so like my first few proposals were flash mobs in the middle of Covent Garden and places like that. And so it was amazing to watch the audience watching, because everybody loves happiness. And there's no one that watches a proposal and is like, oh, I don't want to watch that. They're like clapping, they're taking pictures, they're saying congratulations. It's just a lovely moment to witness. And so that was like a really big thing, flash mobs. I think those people still want to do something big. I mean, big proposals have always been around. It's just people didn't really realise that you can have someone to plan it for them.
True. Interesting point, the flash mobs. I remember watching flash mobs, and it used to be quite an exciting thing watching it for other people. Would you say that now people cringe at the idea of a flash mob, or is that still a thing?
I think it is still a thing, and there's companies that just do like flash mobs. And so if you're into that and you're maybe a singer or a dancer, or you want to like show off your talent in some way and you want to have a really public proposal, then that's still a thing. But actually for us, it really only lasted 3 or 4 years. Right. And then people really moved to private proposals. So they wanted a private room with beautiful decorations with an incredible view, and it's just them. And then they have the proposal. Most of the time they have a photographer and a videographer, or maybe they don't want to spend that much money on having 2 extra suppliers. So we just put our phones in the room so it can capture the moment, so they've got something to then show their friends and family. And then most of the time they have a glass of champagne, they sit down, they call their mums.
Aww.
Yeah, it's sweet because they want to show like what they've done. And actually, like, you know, we've had backlash in the past because, you know, some people used to say, well, why can't the guy just work that out for themselves? But
That's a fair question.
It's a fair question. And what I realised very early on is that every couple's different. So where one guy, and I'm saying guy because 99% of our clients are guys.
Okay.
We have had quite a few women to women, but only in 14 years 2 women to men. So when I refer to guys, I'm just saying because most of our clients are guys. But actually, like, all guys are different. So some of them are super creative. They know what they want. They just don't know. They don't want to be stressing about, is the photographer there? Are the petals out? Is the wind going to blow it away? Like, they just want everything planned for them. And then some guys literally don't have a creative bone in their body, but they know their partner wants something super lovely. And it doesn't need to cost loads of money. Like, proposing doesn't need to cost any money. You could do it breakfast in bed. You could, like, I don't know, have some petals out in your living room. And just, if you love a curry on a Friday night watching TV, that's what you want to do. You want to do it at sunset on
just
a walk with your dog.
Don't drop it in the gravy.
Yeah, just don't drop it in the gravy. But like, whatever you like, it doesn't need to cost money, but everybody's different. So if you do want to spend money on it, there is a planner for that to help you take the stress away, because let's face it, it is stressful. It doesn't matter that you know that other person is going to say yes. You are stressed and you are nervous. I don't know why. People have seen it in films. It's a big 4 words to say, but people get very anxious about it.
I was part of my twin sister's proposal last year, as in my to-be brother-in-law basically got my help, and it was a whole thing. It happened. It took place in Mauritius, and we kind of had it planned, and then for mom and dad and my family to join them off for dinner after the proposal and everything. He was stressed. I was stressed. I was like, what's happening? And then let alone that when we got to the place, like, there was because I pretended that I am going to stay with them on a collaboration basis, that I got a free stay from one of the businesses or partners that I work with. Turned out it was going to be just the 2 of them. When we got there, though, they were trying to ask me for my passport for check-in, and I was like, how do I tell you that I'm not? And we had sent instructions through. Yeah. But it was like slightly chaotic, and then eventually turned out really well. But I can't imagine the stress of people going through it.
And things like that happen all the time, because people don't realise. It's like, you could hire a room and they'll say event for such and such proposal. It's
when
like,
you're not meant to.
Yeah. And it's like, or the ring you can be in your pocket and you're going through the airport terminals. People don't know what to do with those rings. There's plenty of things that you can do to stop security opening an engagement ring and ruining your surprise. And a lot of people think they should just go on holiday, do it on the beach at sunset. But they don't think sometimes there is no sunset. Sometimes it's pouring with rain. Sometimes there's loads of tourists. Sometimes it's just not a nice area. There's like loads of things that can go wrong, and it's your big moment. You want it to be right, and you want to do it the first time perfectly.
Can we go back to the airport one? was like the airport hack for the guy who's about to propose on a holiday, and who's carrying the ring in his luggage or his carry-on.
Yeah, so you don't want it in your pocket, because they can pat you down and they will take that out. You need to have it in your luggage, but you need to put some paper around it saying, do not open, this is an engagement ring, and then tape it to that. So when they're looking, they see that and they don't get it out.
I never thought of that.
I know. Or you don't take the box and then you just have the ring somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
but then you need that moment of doing that, so it's a tricky one. But maybe just have them separate.
Okay, that's a good tip.
There's a lot of blogs on it, so definitely read it up, because you don't want the surprise ruined. Nice.
Okay. Well, I really wanted this podcast to get into like the business part of your different businesses that you've created, and also like the wedding part of it.
Yeah.
We started somehow with the wedding and the proposal question, so let's carry on with this part.
Go for it.
On average, and I know what you're going to tell me, that there's a budget for everyone. And I want to caveat this conversation by telling my audience and potentially your audience that the idea of this conversation is not to hype it up. People can obviously go for whatever budget. You can obviously plan your own proposal yourself. But since you're in the business and your high end of the proposal basically reached like just under £1 million, on average, if someone is looking to propose these days, let's talk simplistic, or rather a simple, nice setup on a beach at sunset. Can we go into the cost breakdown?
I would say,
the photographer, the dinner, and then maybe flowers and something else to celebrate. I don't know. Can we go for maybe an average cost?
I would say the average people spend is £2,500 or euros. It obviously varies every country you go to. So if you're going to Mauritius or Maldives or whatever, it's going to be a lot different because they don't have the same sort of suppliers and setups that we would do here. But like in Paris is probably the most expensive place, because if you want a room with a view and you want to stay the night, that could be upwards of 20 grand just for the suite. But let's take, for example, where we work at the Shard. We're based there because it's a really great place to propose. In London, it's like the Eiffel Tower of London. Also, it's better than the Eiffel Tower, quite honestly, because there's a 5-star hotel in it. And you can have a really nice dinner. You can stay the night. There's lots of different things that you can do there. So that's why we're based there. But for 2.5 grand, you can have a private room. You can have a 3-course dinner, champagne, photographer, videographer, big marry me signs, balloons, flowers, the lot.
Okay.
So you're getting quite a lot for it. Actually, you might even be able to get a musician as well.
Okay.
So some live music as you go in. So it's actually like, it's not that much considering how many suppliers. That's probably 12 to 15 suppliers that you've just hired for that moment. And it's not just a quick 5-minute proposal. It's you're there for 3 to 4 hours and you're enjoying it. And then you get to enjoy it even more when you get home, because you're going to have a few photos delivered to you already for your Instagram. And then 2 weeks later, you'll get the video that you can share with everyone.
Oh, that's sweet. And what about that proposal that you had just under £1 million? Are you allowed to share who that was, or do you have an NDA around that?
I've got an NDA. He's honoured me with one photo. One photo ever, but you kind of see a little bit of it. But
Where was it?
Well, it was in every continent, so it was all of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I mean, the short story is it was their anniversary. He wanted his face beamed onto the Eiffel Tower. Yeah. So I called the Eiffel Tower. I called the local government. You can't have your face beamed onto the Eiffel Tower, but yeah.
Can you tell me about their reaction on the other end of the line?
And they were just like, no. Well, to be honest, something had happened. A footballer, a famous French footballer, had something beamed onto the Eiffel Tower. But I think it was colours. Okay. So this guy got it in his head. He could do that.
Right.
But me being me wouldn't just go back to him and say, sorry, you can't do that. Like I tried. So I came back with a solution. Okay, you can't have it on the Eiffel Tower, but you can have it on Disneyland Paris, completely exclusive for you. So we closed down the park. After hours, so we had the whole thing to ourselves. So from 8 till midnight, we had Disneyland Paris.
Wow.
Beamed his face onto the castle, had incredible fireworks, illuminations all over the castle. I mean, it was amazing. That was the perfect backdrop for a proposal. But no, he didn't want to do that. He wanted to do pranks. He wanted to do funny things. He wanted to do sweet things, and he just wanted to keep going. So we had a private jet, going to different places. It went over about a month because they were having holidays. He was working, doing different things. But we were in New York Times Square, and we had her fake arrested by the NYPD, saying that you shouldn't be in this country. Like, why are you here? You haven't got the right papers. And she's like, what are you talking about? And they tried to manhandle her into a car, and then all the screens in Times Square changed to a picture of him again. Happy anniversary. Anyway, it ends up at Niagara Falls, where we have a part of it exclusive to us. Both their faces are beamed onto Niagara Falls. They had a mariachi band. They had food, drink. He proposed. It was beautiful. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was amazing.
I hope she didn't cry at the time when she was about to get arrested. I would probably end up crying.
I'd be furious. And that's not the only time we've done a fake arrest. We planted oregano in somebody's pocket and got them fake arrested. Yeah, that really happened.
Is it like the idea of like, let's get the stress out of the person, and then maybe obviously you get the better surprise effect? I don't know.
This is when I realised all couples are different, right?
Right.
Everybody doesn't want petals. Like I had a guy that said she hates petals, she hates girly stuff. Let's do a trail of chocolates. Let's do a big chocolate setup. And so with this other guy, he was like, our relationship's based on pranks. Everything we do is a joke. It's funny. They're in love. They're very much in love, and they've gone on and got married, had kids. But it was about pranks. So he was like, right, we've got to do the ultimate prank. And that's when we planted oregano in her pocket.
Right.
And we had fake police come over to her and say, we know you've just been sold these drugs. You need to tell us who sold you these drugs. You need to get in our car. Like manhandled her into the car. There was a GoPro watching her. She's crying her eyes out like, what is going on? I didn't buy drugs. And then anyway, he's in a lineup when they get out.
Right.
And you have to choose who's told you those drugs, like shouting at her. And then she sees him and she's like, oh my God, you got me. That is the best proposal ever.
Do you think there's anyone who's like, or anyone who over the 14 years you've been in touch with who kind of looks back at their proposal in say their 20s and like, oh no, why did I go for this? Or not really?
Well, we stay friends with as many as possible. I mean, there's been over 5,000 and there's people from every country you could possibly imagine. So and we've been to a few people's weddings, but there's one that stands out to me. And It was a flash mob, actually,
Right.
and it was in Covent Garden. So, I mean, the story was he loved dancing. He loved dancing. She didn't. And this is before I really realised what I should ask a client to get the right idea, because some people come with an idea, but most of the time no one has an idea. So I try and find out all about them, like why they love each other, what's their favourite colours, what's their favourite milestones, like how are you like with your family, like what have you done like in your relationship. Anyway, this guy was adamant he was going to do a flash mob and he was going to dance in it. So he did the rehearsal. We found some great dancers. There was 40 dancers, Covent Garden, about 1,000 people watching. This couple walks along, song comes in, he comes into the crowd, starts dancing. Everyone's like, woo, what's going on? And then all the dancers drop to the floor, confetti goes up, her friends pull her into the crowd, and you can just see how mortified she is.
Oh,
and
bless.
she says yes. And then everyone's like cheering, and then she runs off. No one noticed her run off, but I noticed that she just literally ran off, and he's there taking all the credit still. So I ran after her. I was like, you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm okay. Like, that's cool, but that's not me.
Right.
It's not me. Like, I'm really shy. I'm really timid. Like, there's so many people watching. She was so, like, nervous. And so I realised that he was doing it because it was all about him. But actually, in a relationship, you're proposing to someone, it's all about you as a couple. So ever since that day, I always ask all of those questions to make sure it's not just about that person, it's about both of them. But actually, like, it worked out for us because she did actually love the proposal so much that she came and worked for us for 6 months.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So it did turn out all right. But yeah, it made me realise everyone's different.
It's bad, yeah. That's an interesting one. I kind of look back at my mid-20s and what I would be saying to my friends. I remember like being at university, and I think at some point our friends and I, we had this discussion about what would your marriage proposal be like. This is so cringe. But I love dogs. I literally love dogs. Not so much cats, but I'm more of a dog person. But my idea of a proposal was that he should get me a puppy with the ring attached to the collar.
Yeah. That's
cute. Really cute. But now I look back, I'm like, no.
No, that's not for you.
No.
But if you love the dog.
If I love the dog, yes.
Do you know how many people ask us for animal-related proposals?
Really?
Yeah, like loads of with dogs, and we've had them dressed up as different Disney characters, and one of them said, I'm Prince Charming, and he had the ring around his neck. We've had a cat cafe in Shoreditch where we had 50 cats dressed as waiters, and one of them had the ring, and they literally stroked cats and ate cake and then found the ring. And then there was a jazz singer singing a song about cats. To me, that's just bonkers.
Yeah.
But that's perfect
that's what
for them.
People love.
Yeah.
To be clear, I don't want whoever's listening. I don't want a puppy.
No.
I want the ring, but in private, I think I've gone more private now.
Yeah.
The idea of that would be me in that story of the girl in the flash mob. I'd be like, I'd be mortified. I'm like, no, thank you.
Well, what would you like? And then maybe I'll
let you know, and then let him know.
I'll sort it out for you.
Quiet, a sunset, something nice and chill. Yeah.
Make sure that there is a sunset then.
Make sure there is a sunset, exactly. Going back to the cost breakdown, the one thing we haven't talked about is the ring.
Yes.
Another question where I'm sure you'll tell me there's a budget for everyone, Jemma, but what's the thing? Have you heard of the thing about the 3 months pay?
Yeah. That's
What's
what everyone
your take on that one?
I mean, that's the traditional thing. That's a lot of money, isn't it?
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. I don't think people spend that amount of money. To be honest, I think the average that people spend coming to us, if they're doing a $2,500 proposal, they're spending $5,000 on the ring.
Okay.
And I think that's sort of the average that people are spending. But you can get really nice rings for $1,000. It doesn't need to be crazy. But most people these days actually are doing like IOUs. So because the girl has to wear this, or the guy, like forever. So hopefully forever. So sometimes they're not confident in having the setting. So they buy the stone and then they go together to have the setting.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, which is quite sweet. So, and we've had to like buy Marks and Spencer's rings for like £10, like little IOU ones, or just the diamond, or it says something, or some people are given watches. Like, it's not always about the ring. Everyone's a little bit different these days.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You've had someone proposing with a watch,
or a ring that they've made, a bracelet. Some people don't want a ring. Some people had their family's rings. Everyone's different.
Right. Okay.
The traditions, I think, are changing a little bit in terms of like asking the parents for, like, asking the dad for permission. Not everyone does that anymore. I think people are older. They already, the daughter or the guy, they don't live at home anymore, or they could be I don't know, they're sometimes in their 40s. It's like, you're not going to then go and ask the dad. I still think it's a nice thing to do, but not everybody. And some families are like, don't talk. So There's always
True.
a reason. Everyone's different.
But you think that's one tradition that you see people maybe moving away from these days?
Yeah, more and more people aren't doing it. But I think it's a nice thing to have the family. It brings the family together, and the dad's involved, and it's a nice thing because you're married into that family, so it's a nice thing to do.
I would very much still love it.
Yeah.
Just saying, this would be the one conversation I'd be like, make sure you listen. Daisy said, we'll put it on you. Is there anything else that you find people moving away from?
Moving away from,
or like are happily killing, really?
I think more people just want creativity. They just want I know the question is, what don't they want in public?
In public,
yeah, more and more people are just. I can't even remember the last public proposal we did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty much like they might have like terraces and things, and maybe someone could be looking, but it's a private terrace. So yeah, public things like we used to do loads in parks, even picnics, things like that. Like it's just people are having hotel rooms, private event spaces, like more so than anything else.
Right. Okay.
And the other thing is that it's all like creativity. So even it could be something small as it's her favourite colour, or photos of them from when they met to like now, and little like memory things. Just adding in those little touches make all the difference. That's important.
And what's the one thing you haven't seen as a trend at all?
I don't know. Like there's been so many trends over the years. Like one was balloons. Balloons went on for a good 5 years. And I'm not saying like kiddie balloons. It was all about like installations. It was pretty cool, to be honest with you. What's going to be the next trend? It's all about colours and things at the moment, and flower installations and just pretty things.
That's still a thing.
Yeah. I don't know. What else is going to be next? I need to like AI.
Oh, AI.
What are we going to do with AI?
Gonna get someone to
propose for you?
I just genuinely feel like people all want some sort of AI stuff incorporated into their...
Yeah, what would that be with
like
AI?
writing a speech? Like proposal speech?
Oh, yeah, that happens all the time anyway.
Right.
And there is actually people, because some people really want to do an amazing speech for the weddings or the proposals, but there's actual people that do that for you. But I'm guessing you're right, with AI these days, you can just type in all about you to make it personalised. But is that sad?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Also, I feel like with proposals, it's like one of those, like the story that you'll be telling to the girl's parents, like her friends, or she'll be telling the story, and then your kids, like your kids will probably ask, like, how did he propose to you? I know when my brother-in-law, or to-be brother-in-law, like proposed, like he had his speech written out, and then he read the speech to us, and then my parents came around, and he was so excited. He was like, let me read the speech again to you. It was kind of sweet.
It's important because it's a massive milestone in your life. It's huge. So like you want to get it right, and you want it to be thoughtful. But yeah, some people are very nervous to say a speech like that. A lot of people don't even say, will you marry me? Like people just have marry me light up letters, the huge ones. And so you walk in and a girl's like, wow, oh my God, it says everything. And then you just gets on one knee.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So they don't, not that often that they do speeches. We've had people that have done like songs, like created actual songs and sung it to them. But yeah, everyone's different.
Everyone's different. So the one thing I did confirm with like Henry before we recorded is that as much as you started with proposals, you also organize weddings. So can I ask you like the similar question for weddings? Like how much does a wedding cost these days on average?
Yeah.
I've seen different price points. I've seen like 20 grand. I've seen like 50 grand. Obviously inflation in London, economic crisis. How much does it cost these days?
This is a very good question. I don't want to be like funny about it, but I'd say like the average wedding is probably around 50k. They're saying it's 30k, but it's probably 50k if I'm honest with you. A high-end luxury wedding in the UK is 250 grand.
Wow.
Easy.
And how many people are we talking?
100. I'd say in the UK, most people are having 100 guests, maybe to 150, but that's probably about right. And then when it's international, it's more like 80 guests, maybe to 100. It's not normally more, and the places are broader, kind of smaller as well, so it's harder to find a venue that can have more people in it. But our weddings really start from 500k, and most of them are upwards of 2, 3, 4 million.
Wow, okay.
For our weddings. And so we're not wedding planners that just plan loads of weddings throughout the whole summer. It's maybe we do 2 or 3 max, and they're not all weddings. They're also big celebratory parties. So that's how it's got to that, which how did it get to that is absolutely insane, because I was in advertising and marketing before this job, and then I start doing small proposals for starting off at £500, and then the biggest wedding I ever done was £15 million. So it's like, how has that even happened? I never thought I'd become a wedding planner. It's just naturally gone this way.
As a wedding planner, when you're given almost like the mandate of this is a £15 million wedding that you get to plan, how do you go about it?
No one ever says a budget.
Okay, no one
Yeah,
ever.
no. So it's either like the budget.
I guess at that price point, like maybe you don't.
Yeah, because they're billionaires, right? So there isn't a price. It's what is it worth? What do they want? Like, so it's just coming up with lots of ideas, pitching it to them, and they will just literally go yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. So, but actually to get to that level for a wedding, it's not about the flowers and the venue. I mean, you can spend a lot of money on that. It's about the artists. So it's having A-list headline artists perform at your wedding. That's where that's where the big money is. Yeah.
Have you had Indian weddings? Like big fat Indian weddings?
Yeah, I have only had one, which was at the Dubai. It was in Dubai, the Atlantis, and that was 4 million.
The reason I ask is because I haven't been to a big fat Indian wedding myself, but I've seen like the Ambani's wedding, and they had like Rihanna. They had so many artists, and I know in India, my friends tell me about it. Like in India, that's actually a big thing, like having a known artist coming to the wedding.
Yeah.
Hence the question.
Oh no, that's. I mean, I did 2 weddings last year alone with Katy Perry. So like it's a thing. Like most weddings, they'll have a band, but then you have this celebrity performer comes out and no one knows this person's coming, but it's pretty epic, and the production is pretty epic. So it costs a lot of money to have an A-lister like that flown in for that event, and they really only sing for like 45 minutes, an hour if you're lucky. And then you've had to do a lot of work for that. But it's wow factor, isn't it, for the guests?
I'm going to play devil's advocate here just because I know like people listening to this will ask the question. What do you say to people who go, well, wouldn't it have been a nice idea for them to donate that money to charity versus spending all that money on a lavish wedding?
Absolutely, but I can tell you 100% all these people already give loads of money to charity. Like they all have their own foundations, they all do a lot for charity, and this is their big day, so that's what they want to do.
The world is
Who
such
am I
that,
to judge?
Yeah, and the world is such like there is, it's unequal as it is in terms of distribution of wealth.
But actually a lot of these weddings, it doesn't matter what level your wedding is at these days. A lot of people aren't doing favours anymore. They're giving money to charity, and they're having little notes on their table to say, instead of a favour, we've given money to charity. Or on their they get the gift list. Even in John Lewis, like the gift list, it says, or you can give your money to charity.
Oh, that's a nice
in
gesture.
honour of the guests, and a lot of people are offering that. And actually, the level that you get of the weddings that I do, they don't want gifts. So they actually do want it to go to charity. So I actually think from these weddings, charities are getting more from it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think you raised a point there, because you're talking weddings with budget around millions and billions. If you are of that income bracket anyway, you probably wouldn't be needing gifts as it is.
Yeah. It's really hard.
The idea of a donation sounds lovely.
Yeah, exactly.
And the last one on this particular segment of wedding proposals, I know you've had 100% success rate over the past 14 years. Have you had anyone who's been engaged and eventually broke up?
Yes, that's definitely happened. But I know 2 people out of the 5,000. One I could just tell wasn't going to work out. I could just tell, it was just very obvious, and it didn't. And sadly, they had a kid as well in between that, and they did split up. And the other person was cheated on by someone very famous, but the guy came back and proposed to somebody else 6 months later. So it was the only repeat business we've ever had.
So you had the same guy, but a different lady involved?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But did you help them with the first proposal?
Yeah, so I did their first proposal and they were all happy.
And
And
he
then
did
6
come back
months
to
later,
you.
he said, actually, she cheated on me with X, and I've met somebody else, and I want to propose, but I don't want to do it in the same way as we did with her. But he obviously loved what what we did. But yeah, that's the only repeat business ever.
Right. Okay. Well, that's fair. It's the guy. So it's he got cheated on.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'm with you now.
Yeah, no, he was totally cool, like really nice guy, and we could help him again. So yeah, no one ever comes back for another proposal, or haven't yet. We have done a renewal as well, which was lovely. But that's where we get our kind of wedding clients, because they trust us at the proposal. We learn all about their relationship, and we really delve into why they love each other. Why are you proposing? And so they love us from there, and we've just done a big moment in their life, and that's when we're like, hey, do you want a wedding as well? If they've got the budget. And then we move them to that business.
On that particular point, like when you see that this might not work between two people, I suppose I can anticipate the answer here, that you don't get involved. We've said no to one person. Okay.
Because the thing is, like, we don't know. We've had a lot of arranged marriages. They've already planned their wedding. So, but because they live here in the UK and everyone's getting engaged, their friends are getting engaged, they want to also get engaged, but it's an arranged marriage. So they already know they're getting married next month. So they still do the proposal. We had one guy that came in, he was 18, they'd been together 3 months, they were going to different universities, and they hadn't even met each other's parents, and he wanted to propose. And I was like, no, we can't plan this proposal. I just don't, like, it's not going to be a yes, or if it's, I don't know, it's not right. They hadn't been together long enough. So I just said, come back, like, when you've met each other's parents, and like, I don't know, it was just too young. It just didn't sit well with me. And he didn't come back, so I'm assuming they didn't stay together. But everybody's relationships are different. Some people fall in love like that, and some people have been together for like 10 years. So it's hard to know, but we kind of do a bit of stalking on social media. So we like find where, like, when do they get, like, we look at pictures tell 1,000 words. So we can see like how in love they are and what they do and things like that. But yeah, I mean, we can't say, no, we're not going to plan your proposal if that's what you want to do. This is our service. But yeah, it's hard because you can sometimes see it. But actually, like, we only see these proposals for the 5 minutes it's happening. And it's, one girl will be like totally like, oh my God, tears on her face, like really excitable. And the other girl's like, what on earth has just happened? But they're happy. And then you can see later on when they're having dinner, they're happy. But like, it's just the emotions.
Right.
You never know.
And then the very last on this one, I know I said the last one, but the very last. How long should a couple date before he pops the question?
Oh, it's a good one, isn't it? I honestly think it really depends on your age as well. Like, if you've started going out at like, I mean, I started dating my boyfriend at the time when I was 23. We didn't get married to 33. And so we had a long time.
So 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. We bought a flat together. You know, we travelled the world. Like, then we knew it was time. And that was right. But some people could get together so early and they're just like, they want to get married. A girl in our office got married at the age of 23. And they're still together.
And you know what? Like, that could get frowned upon now because, that's too young.
Yeah. But then it wasn't then. And so they've been together all this time. So they are happily married. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Did you have anyone questioning you in your particular case, if I may push it, like being together for 10 years and still like him having not asked?
Did you? Set up a whole business in it. Like, who sets up a proposal business? Like, it wasn't like, obviously it was because of my brother, but like, I just loved proposals and I loved doing this. And the press used to say to me, like, how would you like to get engaged, Daisy? And I'd be like, at the top of Tower Bridge with petals and candles. And he used to listen to that. Right. But then we were concentrating on buying a flat in London. It's really important to us. And obviously he has to save for the ring. So it just took a little bit too long. And I was nagging him, my friends were nagging him, my mum was nagging him. And it got a little bit awkward, if I'm honest, to the point that he was like, oh, well, I can't be bothered to propose because everyone's nagging me. I'm just going to do it when I want to do it.
Because that could actually cause a lot of distress to couples.
Yeah,
I've literally heard this from someone quite recently, actually, talking about someone else who's been dating his girlfriend for like 8 years, and then basically mocking that person, saying, I don't know why she's still in here and what she's waiting for. He's never going to propose. And my counter argument was that, how do you know they might not even want a marriage? They might not even want to be wedded. Like, they might just want to be living this way forever.
You need to have that conversation. It's the same conversation about babies. It's like, someone might want to have babies and someone might not. But if you have that conversation 10 years down the line, you're going to end up splitting up if you want babies and the other one doesn't. So it's the same with a marriage. Like, you need to have that conversation. If you don't want to get engaged, get married, have babies, then you shouldn't you shouldn't be together unless someone's going to change how they feel. But quite often not, people don't change how they feel. So,
but I mean, more particularly in the case of people having been together and then probably working through their own things and their own stuff. But the external world judging that it's not going to happen while you're still with that guy because you've been together for like 8-9 years and he hasn't popped the question yet.
I know. And that's, but again, it's the same with babies. Why aren't you having a baby yet? Why aren't you doing this? Why? There's always the next step. Like we always had, when are you going to move in together? When are you going to move into it? When are you going to get engaged? When are you going to get married? When are you going to have a baby? When are you having the next baby? It's constant. What's going to be next? I've had 2 babies now. Someone's going to say something. I don't know what's next.
True. Very true. And now if we could move on maybe to the business part of it, which is all super exciting. And I love this pre-chat because it kind of warmed up the idea of like what a wedding proposal could be. When you founded your business, and I say founded, I think what's interesting and people don't realize, like founding a business can be as simple as creating a company and registering it to your name and then going about launching or having activities around that business. But in some cases, you often start with having an idea, executing it, and then adding 1 more people to the team, 2 more people, and then starting to form a team. And then you're like, oh, maybe I should register it as a business. It become a more formal thing. I'm really curious to go into your workflow in a way. Like when you started working on this, what was the framework, especially when or you said earlier, like you Google and there was like no wedding planner. Like how do you form a business? And this is literally for people who are perhaps like, or have an idea, have no idea really where to start, or like how do you create a business?
God, with a lot of ups and downs, a lot of tears, a lot of tantrums. It's just being an entrepreneur, setting your own business up is quite scary. But if you don't start it now, when are you going to start it? You just got to go with your gut. And I was kind of lucky in a way that I was working at Saatchi & Saatchi, which is a big advertising company at the time. And I had a good job. I was account manager on some great brands and I loved the people and I loved my job. I didn't actually want to leave. But I came up with this idea and I approached my director and I said, look, I've come up with this idea. I think it's awesome. She's like, I think it's awesome. And she told like the powers that be about it. And they love people that think outside the box. And so they supported me. So I had no money to spend on this business. I didn't even have £1. I just literally got a mortgage in London and we were maxed out. And my boyfriend at the time was like, look, you follow your dreams if you really want to do this, but you need to pay the bills. And so I couldn't quit my job. I had to pay the bills. And I told the powers that be what I was thinking and they just absolutely loved it. And they were like, look, if you need some help with a website, we can help you. This is the days before Squarespace and all these things. Like you could get a website for free now, but at the time you had to like create bespoke websites. So I had this guy that like helped me in the evenings. We'd like finish 7-8 o'clock like doing our pitches for advertising, and then he would like help me do the website. And then basically I reached out to some press and we got in the Times, I think it was, or the Telegraph. And so it kind of started from there. And then there wasn't really social media at the time. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't like big. So I think it was literally just from the website because basically nobody was talking about proposal planning. So within weeks, I was #1, page 1 of Google. And we still maintain that. There is other proposal planners now. There's lots of people doing what we do. There's lots of like other things talking about. There's loads of blogs and things like that, but no one was talking about it then.
You actually did come up on my Google search as one of the first. Like,
oh, really?
The proposals did come up. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I remember doing a proposal in Brighton in a beach hut. So if you type in propose in Brighton, we come up #1. If you propose at the Shard, we come up #1 because we were the first and only people talking about it. And now there's people that do paid ads, things like that. But naturally, I would go to the person that's come up #1 naturally.
Without an ad.
Yeah, because like I know they're legit. So anyway, so that was really lucky. So because unless you're like inventing something that's completely new, like people have talked about it before. So I was in the right place at the right time. What else? Social media, website. Oh, and then basically I started getting emails from production companies saying this should be a TV show.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, it should, because it's funny. Like, it's so funny. Like people's stories, like it's emotional. It's going to make you cry, but it's going to make you laugh. Anyway, so we went with the Sky Lifetime. Sky Lifetime was a huge American, Lifetime is massive in America, and they were launching in the UK and they wanted some British shows. So we got snapped up like that, like literally so quickly.
Wow.
Like it was a matter of weeks. And then we were into filming and we did 6 episodes, hour long per episode. And it was super fun to plan it. But it was on a women's channel. And women don't propose with us, sadly. It's men. So it was kind of on the wrong channel. So it did go to other countries like Ecuador and like just other countries I'd never even been to. And we were like, we'd love to help you, but their budgets were very different to our budget. So we didn't actually make any business from that TV show.
Right.
So roll on another 10 years. And I've been saying no to a lot of different people for production companies because we probably get 2 or 3 emails a week. And then one came in and we really liked them and it was for Channel 4. And so we said yes at this time. So we did the TV show that just came out in October and November last year. So it was on E4 and Channel 4. It's now on British Airways and Emirates flights and stuff like that. And it was filmed really high end, like not high end as in like the videography and the edit and stuff was really sleek. So it's a really lovely show and it really will make you cry and laugh. And it's just a nice feel good show. So we did that. But again, I wouldn't say that brings in business at all. It's really like, it's just makes you more credible. It's good for your brand. People can watch you in action. And they can see you're real because something that happened like when I first started the business is people didn't really want to part with their money. They didn't know who you were. You were like just an online new website and you could just be a scam taking their money. So that was a bit difficult to like prove my worth, get assets to put out there. Hey, I'm normal. I'm going to really work hard to plan something so amazing for you. And this is how much it costs. But that's the sort of thing that I got. But now you can see the whole team on the website. You can see 2 TV shows. I've been on, you name it. I've been in every national newspaper you could possibly imagine. So there's a lot of assets now that you can find.
And you can just leverage them.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Within those 14 years, when would you say was your peak? As in, you put in the work, and I think it's really interesting that you mentioned, like, as an entrepreneur, we don't get to see the messy parts. I'm sure there's been lows, there's been highs, there's been so many cries. I can tell you with this podcast itself, there's been so many times I've questioned it, there's been so many times I've had my cries, and I'm putting in money, and we had this chat earlier, being in a full-time job, like, I can't dedicate myself fully to this. It's the dream, but until then, we've got bills to pay. But you got moments where you kind of almost like question yourself. There's like the second guessing, do I still keep going at this? When you started and you still couldn't see the money coming in, what kept you going? And at what point do you feel like you reached your peak and then it was pretty much like running on its own, that you could focus on something else?
Yeah, at the beginning, I wasn't making any money. It was like a side hustle, a hobby, and I was making all the props. There was no money coming in with the clients for like all these different suppliers. Like I was literally hand painting little marry me signs and sticking in buttons and making umbrella things, and like I made all of it myself, and my flat was a mess. I couldn't afford storage, so like my whole hallway is filled with boxes and things like that. Like it was a mess. Like I was roping in my mum. I had no staff. I was like, my mum was coming to everything with me, roping in my husband. Like honestly, anyone that could come and helped. And then I realised I could get an intern for free at the time. Like I'd never do that now. Like I always pay our interns like all the expenses and everything, because you know they need something from us and we need something from them. So anyway, so this intern came and we were working in Shoreditch, like at one of the hotel desks, working together, and she was doing it for free. And it was like we were just really just going for it. And then we couldn't work there anymore, and we were working in my flat in my living room. So I was just like living in my living room all day long with different interns coming in all the time, and my husband was not happy about that. And it was all a bit of a mess. And it's not until you take that first leap of faith where you get your first employee, but then it's the HMRC, PAYE, all of that. So then I had to learn all those things, and I hate that stuff. I'm not good at finance, I'm not good at HR, any of those things. I'm good at creating ideas.
You're a people person.
Yeah, I'm a people person. I put me that side of things, I just put it to the side, and that's when things get messy. And it still does. I'm still not great at that, and I have more people to do that stuff for me now, but they're chasing for me all the time. I just put it to one side. Yeah. I hate that. But the best time actually was weirdly after COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Like, because with like the weddings and things halted, but proposals still kind of carried on, not to the extent of what it was doing, but because it was 2 people and most of those people were living together, there was times where you could only do something if you were living together, or like you could only go to a hotel if you two had lived together, or like it's just all about two people.
The bubble.
So we were going to people's gardens and decorating. We were just thinking outside the box, like sending packages. Then the hotels opened, we could do all our work again, and we were doing a lot. There was so many. It was inundated. Every single prop was out of the office. We had nothing left, and it was such a busy time. And that went on for like 2 years, and then last year, it went down. Because what happened was, it's the same with weddings, no one met for a few years.
Right.
So it meant that then there was not as many engagements, there was not as many weddings, and you can ask any wedding planner right now, their sales are down. So yeah,
even after COVID.
Yeah. So everyone had a spike.
Because that cycle of like meeting someone, getting to know them.
Is that amount of time. So we're probably going to have another spike soon. But right now the wedding industry is massively down, which is a shame.
Yeah, I didn't think about it this way. I kind of assumed like post-COVID, that was it.
Like literally afterwards, every wedding planner I knew were just absolutely stacked. Like weddings and weddings and weddings. They were absolutely exhausted. People just couldn't do anymore. It was like everyone was just a mess, but in a great way, because everyone was making money and making people happy again, and it was all lovely. But now it is quiet.
What would you say was your leap of faith moment throughout this entire 14 years of being in the industry?
That's a hard question. I just always kind of go with my gut. Like, I don't know. I know everyone always says that, but like, I just get this feeling, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I don't know. I just keep going for it. Opportunities keep coming. And you don't take all the opportunities, but you just have to do your due diligence and just try and pick what you think is going to work. I just go for it. I don't know. So if someone says something to me and I think, oh, that's a good idea, I just do it.
You just do it.
Yeah, I don't sit on it. I know it's just in my mind then. So if it doesn't happen, I just start getting annoyed, and I'm like, I'll do everything to make it happen.
You know, you remind me of this good book I recently read. It's called The Wild Courage by Jenny Wood. Right. And she talks about, I think she was a former Google executive. And then she talks about, like in the very first chapter, she talks about how she was on the train. She saw this attractive young man and she had a crush. He got off and she was like, it's now or never. And she chased him, handed her business card. Turned out like a few years later they were married. But like she endorses the whole message about going for it and like trusting your gut throughout the whole message.
When you run your own business, there's no one to tell you what to do. And that sucks sometimes. Like it's really hard to make some decisions. And sometimes I'm like to the team, I don't know.
Is it a scary place to be in sometimes?
Yeah, definitely. And for a long time I couldn't afford a business coach. So now I've had her for about 8 years now. And I have her every 6 to 8 weeks. And it just makes me accountable for things. I say I'm going to do something, or I might come to her and say, look, I've got this idea. And she'll go, that's a rubbish idea. That's not going to work. Or she'll be like, that's a brilliant idea. How are we going to make this work? And then by the end of the hour phone call, I've got all of these new tasks that I hadn't even thought of, because I've had somebody that's outside of the business talk me through it as well. And so I have to fill in a form after that meeting, and I'm accountable for things. So by the next meeting, I'm like, oh my God, what did I say I was going to do? Quickly do them all. But yeah, like without her, like, no, it's just like, obviously I've got the team as well, but everybody, they're in the business. So they're very much involved. So it's better to hear. And like, I don't want to say it to my husband because he's sick of me talking about it. And so I just want to say no to everything he says. But then later on, I think, oh yeah, that's a really good idea. I should probably tell him that was a good idea. But like with my business coach, is just someone that's just not in my life. Like, right. I don't know, it's been really helpful.
I was going to ask, like, why does someone like you, who seems really good at multitasking and like got these different ideas going on and different businesses running, and you've executed them, you've had the idea, you've executed them, why do you still feel like you need a business coach? Which is really interesting. It's almost like you needed someone to have like a zoomed out look, maybe.
Yeah. I think I lack deciding what's the most important thing to do. Like, I have too many ideas and I just want to do all of them all the time. Right. And I can't do that. So she's just like this little thing in my ear going, well, that's ridiculous. Like, just take the best one, this one, focus on that. Because otherwise I wouldn't. I'll just be like, you should see my notepad. It's just like crazy. And I have to like try and like, now I've got a notepad that it's like a minute by minute schedule of the day. And I'm trying to fill that out because by the end of it, that whole thing is just a mess.
Right. It's almost like going back to the Pareto effect, right? Like the 80-20, like the 20% of, or like the 20% of things that would drive like 80% of results.
Yeah.
We're all guilty.
I'm just
then.
excited. Like, there's just too many things to do. I love to go to work on a Monday. Like even Sunday night, I'm preparing for it. I'm like getting out my book, my minute schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need all of that in there because I'm just excited for the week because there's just too much fun stuff happening.
Well, you know what they say, right? When people ask you like, why do so many things, or aren't you just afraid of like just jumping into it? It's almost like, well, it's realizing that you can actually have fear of doing nothing forever in your life, so might as well start going.
Yeah,
Keep going.
exactly. That's nice.
Daisy, last like parting words for the audience. Like, what would be your tip for anyone thinking of starting their own business? Any dream that they may have, any aspiration, haven't really got started, and
No, literally, it's the easiest comment, like, go for it, because you'll never know. Because if you don't try, like, so many people get really nervous about it, keep talking about it. Don't talk, just do it. Because otherwise you won't know. And you don't need loads of money to set up a business these days. You can literally set up a business, unless it's like a product. If it's a service, you could literally set up your business pretty much for free. So do your due diligence, do some research like I did, ignore the whole thing and do it anyway.
block out the noise and get going.
Yeah.
Well, Daisy Amodio, thank you so much. I really enjoyed chatting to you. It's been lovely. Thank you to Henry for making it happen. But thank you so much for your time today.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. For those who don't know me, my name is Jemma Permalloo. I'm Mauritian born and raised, now living in the UK. I work full-time for an investment bank, but on the side, I created this podcast about 2 years ago, and I've since tried to bring on exciting guests for you so that you can hear from them and learn something from them. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take the time to press the subscribe button. It really means a lot to me, especially when there are times when I second guess myself and I question whether I should keep up with a podcast. Thank you so much for doing so, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.